Black bitches wanna fight. Then the fuckers, bitches don't fucking call the fucking police when I beat the shit out you black ass, dirty ass hoes, you stupid ass bitch. Cause when I see all you black bitches in public, I'm gonna punch you fucking bitches in the fucking mouth. You stupid ass bitches. I don't give a fuck about none of you dirty ass hoes, nigga. Fuck you black bitches. It's smoke, nigga. I'm turning all you hoes into a pack. Real shit, cause I'm tired of you bitches running y'all fucking mouth. I see black men do everything for y'all bitches. Everything. I see black men burn they black.
I had enough of this and enough of this. It's enough going on that I'm struggling with. So much going wrong that I wanted to fix. But she rather dump me, so I'm dumping with this. Said she ain't take my kid from me. The government did. Well, I'ma take her life from her if we done it, she did. On God, who the get this hard that we hardly speaking? But it's cool because no can't speak when she hardly breathing.
Welcome to my channel. This is Divest Diamonds. You have arrived. So in this video, I'm going to be responding to, or rather, making additional commentary to this YouTuber's video. His name is Joe Jones. He has a YouTube channel called Cup of Joe 20. Now, I have to admit that when I first came across his video, I had never seen any of his content before, nor had I ever heard of him. I once again must admit that I was pleasantly surprised by what he had to say. But before hopping onto doing a response video, I decided to check out his channel and see whether this particular video was coming from a genuine place. And the reason for that, of course, is that I have come across a lot of content done by men of other races that was solely geared towards pandering to Black women for various reasons, money being at the top of that list. I have to say that I did not get that with this gentleman. Unlike others here on YouTube who dedicate their channels talking about Black women's issues when they barely date or even marry Black women, and you know who you are, he was once married to a Black woman. He has admitted on camera on how he loves and appreciates Black women. He's no longer married to that lady, but they were high school sweethearts and were married for 7 years. He also pointed out that they were together for 12 or 13 years. In one of his other videos, he mentioned that he's currently in a relationship with a Black woman. So I just thought I'd put that out there just in case there are people thinking that he's a panderer. I got you, ladies, okay? I got you. So let's get into the main event. The video where he says Black women are not your doormat. Let's get started.
All right, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever it is that you're watching me from. This is the Cup of Joe Show. I'm Joe Jones. This is going to be a fairly short video. It's also going to be a pretty serious video. I know a lot of times I do funny stuff and talk about funny things, but this is definitely a topic that I feel needs to be discussed, and it is not a laughing matter at all. And I'm really angry about the stuff that I've been seeing all my life, you know, regarding Black women and how they're treated and stuff like that. So that's what this video is going to be about really quick. I just want to address these guys, because they're not men. Don't ever call them men. I want to address these guys who are dating Black women and, whoa, don't put that, almost put my radio in Chinese. I'm trying to turn it off. They're getting with these Black women and they're treating them like complete shit, okay? These guys, well, let me first off, let me address them. You guys, let me tell you something. Black women are not a doormat for you. Black women are not just a child bearer for you to have as many baby mamas as you possibly can. Black women are not supposed to be the breadwinner of the family. Hello. I know you might think that, but they're not.
I couldn't agree more. The funny thing is, a lot of these black men are so accustomed to treating black women like shit because they are pedestalized from childhood. It also doesn't help that the so-called community worships the ground they walk on, even if they have nothing to offer. This kind of behavior enables them to believe that they deserve to be held in high esteem. Mammies are out here encouraging these males to sit on a throne, knowing absolutely well they have no kingdom in sight to speak of. The quote-unquote community does very little to call out the bad behaviors of these males. What happens is these males turn themselves into victims, coercing some black women, the type of black women gullible enough to tolerate their male excuses, into taking them in and taking care of them. As long as these boys have excuses not to apply themselves and become real men, there is no urgency in wanting to provide for women. They struggle with being contributing members of society because they have options. As long as certain black women are happy making excuses for them and taking care of them, why would they rock the boat? These males thrive off of the fact that they believe they are the prize in these relationships and not the women. Most times they make promises to these women about having children and sticking around, but once those kids arrive, it's never the case. Do people ever wonder how a lot of these black women who are single mothers end up in those situations? Do you really believe that these women are just out there opening their legs to every Tom, Dick, and Harry for no reason at all? The bottom tier black men who father these children and don't take care of them do that to secure themselves a place to live without paying bills. These children are actually an opportunity and a meal ticket for them in terms of shelter. They use their children as collateral for a roof over their heads. This is why there is so much hostility once some of these women realize that these males are only there to bamboozle them. When the penny finally drops, only then do they ask for child support. These males believe that as kings, it's their God-given duty to father as many children as possible with as many women as possible and leave the full responsibility of child rearing to the women. Nature boy, anyone? They consider it an insult for these women to ask for financial contribution in taking care of their own kids. They are so used to getting away with doing absolutely nothing that any woman asking for child support is looked upon as the devil and destroyer of all men. Let's continue.
You're supposed to be a man. You were born as a male, and you're supposed to grow into a man. Grow up, take care of your family, take care of your woman. If you are with a black girl, stop treating her like shit.
They can't be men because deep down, they believe every black woman's responsibility is to mother them. Basically pick up where their mothers left off. Most of them, especially the ones who grow up in single-parent households where they have been abandoned by their father and the only present parent, being the mother, have misplaced hatred. They tend to have hatred for their mothers because of the endured struggle while growing up. But somehow, in their messed up logic, that hatred doesn't seem to go anywhere near the absentee parent. The hatred for their mothers and black women in general can be seen in music videos and song lyrics. They have used music to verbalize their hatred of black women by calling them exactly what they think of them. They don't respect black women And because they lead with their genitals, sex is nothing to them. They hop from one woman to the next shamelessly because they have no respect for the female form. Let's continue.
All of my life in Hollywood, you see men, guys, portraying black women as nothing more than bitches and hoes. And I want you black women to know that that's not what you are. You're not a bitch, you're not a hoe. That's mainly in the black movies. That's what they call black women. You go to the white movies in Hollywood, and if they're referring to a black girl, they call her the N-word or something. It's like, come on, man. But I've never heard Hollywood or anybody refer to black women, as ladies, as more than just their bodies. It's always something about their body. Look, let me tell you something. Black women are not a sex object for you. They're not. I know you might think they are, but they're not. That's not for you to just be using. They're not for you to be using them and getting them impregnated and leaving them to take care of your kids alone. Black women have enough struggles as it is. And these guys are out here, man, beating black women, telling them that they need to fully submit. Why would you submit to somebody that can't even keep a job? Like, why are you submitting? Like, why are men targeting black women so that they can move in with the... Okay, there's guys who are targeting black women, and they're making these black women feel sorry for them, and they're coming up with these lies. Oh, I just went through a divorce. Oh, my baby mama just left me, and I got 3 kids. I need somewhere to stay. Go figure it out. Where's all your homeboys at, man? Stop using black women. Stop it. They are not your provider. You're supposed to be their provider. You're supposed to be a man. You need to get off your ass. You need to go to work. You need to get a job. You need to take your damn hands off of the black girl. Take your hands off of her.
I agree. Black men have been calling black women bitches and hoes for decades. There is no respect there at all. And yes, as far as Hollywood is concerned, there is very little positive representation as far as black women are concerned, because we are not looked upon as soft or feminine. The black woman's depiction is usually based on some outdated stereotype. Coarse, callous, uncouth, loud, ghetto, masculine. Black women are not a monolith. We know that. Unfortunately, the rest of the world does not. And people who have nothing to do with us do carry a lot of preconceived notions of who they think we are. Part of the reason for that is that black women have allowed their image to be tainted by black men because they have been busy. They have been too busy catering to them and protecting them from how the world views them. The fact that black women have had to take charge and lead the quote-unquote community when the men have never been interested in being men means black women have had to take on that masculine energy by taking care of things, thus being viewed as less worthy of protection and less worthy of receiving the help or empathy that the so-called feminine woman is usually afforded. He's right. Black women are not looked upon as women. It's ridiculous. I have 2 videos in my archives where an incel black male talks about black women not being women, and also a white biological male who moonlights as a woman and happens to be a trans rights activist posted this shit to his social media. Black women are not biologically the same as other women. They are still women. It just means that the differences for being black have to be considered as well. I'm arguing that the biological differences for being trans doesn't necessarily stop them from being women. So let me get this straight. Are Black women walking around with ambiguous genitalia? Do we have penises? I want you to understand that this is a biological male making these points. The fact that these people who aren't women trying to occupy women's spaces look at Black women as anything other than biological women is very disturbing. This is why Black women need to be mindful of their allyship to some of these communities. You have a bunch of men in wigs and dresses living under the illusion of womanhood, thinking that their struggle is that of a Black woman's? Get the fuck out of here. This really pissed me off, to say the least. But I digress, because this is something that needs to be addressed separately. But yeah, Black women are used as breeding machines for the so-called community. These males will spew their hatred for you, but they also understand that the only woman capable of giving them a Black child is a Black woman. They will hate on you, call you derogatory names, but still sleep with you because you are essential to their continued existence. I just need Black women to understand how powerful they are. The race cannot continue without you or your womb. Let's continue.
You know, there was a time where my friend had told me, this was like 10 years ago, now that I think of it, he had told me that there was a Black woman he had seen in downtown Dallas with a Black man, and the Black man was, in his words, beating the shit out of that hoe. That's what he said. He said he was beating the shit out of that hoe. And he started laughing. I said, "What's funny?" And he said, "Because he was beating her." And I said, "That's funny? I don't find that funny at all." And he said, "Yeah, man." He said, "You should have seen her. He was grabbing her by her hair, just mollywopping that bitch." And I'm like, "That's not funny, man. I'd have mollywop you for not stepping in and helping her." And he couldn't see what my problem with that was. He was like, "I don't see any problem with that." He's like, "She probably disrespected him. She probably said something she shouldn't have said." Okay, just because somebody says something that you don't agree with, that gives you the right to beat the shit out of a woman? No. I'll beat the shit out of you if I see you beating the shit out of a Black woman. We don't play that shit.
Absolutely. The abuse in the so-called community is rampant. And it's like I always say, Black women need to get away from any man who demands submission. If you, as a man, feel the need to demand a woman submit to you, you're not doing what it takes for her to be able to do it naturally. Most women will submit naturally and not by request to a man who meets their needs. He wouldn't have to ask. The unfortunate thing is, you have fake relationship gurus from the University of YouTube telling Black women to submit to unworthy men. You can't submit to a man who doesn't have a job or a career. What exactly would you be submitting to? Dust? Nobody got time for that. You don't submit to potential, and you sure as hell do not submit to any broke man. Stop trying to project your insecurities on women. Forcing Black women to submit is a weak man's argument. If your woman isn't doing that naturally, and it's something that you heavily desire, you are definitely doing something wrong. My advice to you is give it up or do better. Yep, this is how they are. They laugh at Black women's pain, and you see, a lot of them don't have compassion for Black women because it's all covered in hatred. Look at the story of that Black Nigerian guy who got deleted by his preference. Despite dating out, he couldn't help but express his intense hatred for black women. And his family had the audacity to ask the so-called community for help? You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. The sad part is that they don't even mind where they abuse or embarrass you. A real man would have reacted the way Joe did. He didn't find that situation funny because it wasn't.
I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. You guys need to step up. You guys need to stand up for black women. Protect them. If you're going to be with them, you better have your ass out there protecting them. Because you don't. Nobody does. And this isn't a message to, you may be thinking that this message is to black men. It's not. It's to every man. Regardless of race or ethnicity, it's to whoever is with a black woman who's trying to use a black woman right now. You know you are. You know you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. If you're using a black woman, if you're putting your hands on a black woman, if you're using her and she's paying your rent and you're sitting your ass on the couch every day while she's raising your kids, you ain't shit. And I'm sick of it. Grow up, be a damn man, and treat a black woman like the queen she is. That's all I have to say, guys. For now. There'll be more to come. Black women are not your doormats. Stop acting like it. Have a good day.
That's exactly how they feel, though. They don't mind putting their hands on women because violence to them is justified. I absolutely agree with him. This is why it's very important to vet every man that you choose to have a relationship with, black, white, or other. Broke men are a joke. You see, they expect you to be nice and understanding to their situations, but guess what? They would never do the same for you. In a lot of these one-sided abusive relationships, narcissism is the name of the game, and gaslighting is the cherry on top. The best thing that ever happened to black women was social media. Other people can now see what black women have had to endure. Women of other races who used to think that we deserved the treatment that black men were dishing out are now realizing that they get treated exactly the same way when they engage in relationships with these males. The black male's overinflated sense of self-worth is what highlights their abusive traits. Most people are now realizing that black women haven't always been the problem. Sure, you have problematic mammies who help promote degenerate behavior, such as the one in the following video, but the majority of us aren't and will never be like that.
I be seeing so many black women say they about to start dating outside of their race. And I get where y'all coming from because I be on TikTok and I be seeing all that bullshit they be saying. But y'all can't let the He-Man Hoochie Mamas on TikTok and the podcast men and the Pookies and Ray Rays distract y'all from the fact that it's good black men out here.
Another thing that I neglected to mention earlier is that a lot of black men cannot seem to grasp the concept of men and women being different. They have a warped way of viewing and understanding the world we live in. Men and women aren't the same. Therefore, our functions, whether biologically or otherwise, are going to be different. Most are in constant competition with black women, and it's very disturbing. They normally expect black women to fit into traditional gender roles. They expect these women to go to work, pay half of the bills, take complete care of the children, take care of them and their needs, and still maintain a smile on their faces. Let's be honest, their value is predicated upon what lies between their legs. They can't shut up about it. What they seem to forget is that men of other races have the same thing, but you won't find them making that the focal point of their existence. A lot of these black men live a life of delusion because most of them think that the dick is the most important part of their relationships. As far as they're concerned, fuck your feelings, emotions, and needs. This is why they insist on submission and calling themselves the head of the household, even when they are living in your house and paying none of the bills. So yeah, I appreciate Joe's video because he spoke nothing but the truth. It's oh so refreshing to hear about these issues from another man's perspective. I'll put the link to his video in the description bar below for those of you who would like to check out his channel. He has a variety of videos from YouTube shorts to funny videos. But yeah, good talk. So, what are your thoughts on what's been discussed in this video? Please leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, ladies, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Thank you so much for watching. This is Divested Diamonds, and I'll see you next time. Bye, diamonds.